Hey everybody, Max Rich here, and that is Can't Stop by Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I'm sure you all knew that because it's a super famous song and a super funky riff. And today, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be putting that very funky, very electric song onto acoustic guitar. And it is doable. Don't let anyone tell you it's not doable. Basically, the idea behind this song is, and behind most like Chili Pepper songs that are up-tempo at least, is a very, very funky right hand. Okay, so what I mean by that is when you're playing funk and you're playing funk guitar, you've got to be able to keep the subdivisions going non-stop with your hand. And okay, what are subdivisions? Well, subdivisions are ways of kind of shrinking the beats into smaller and smaller groups. So for example, if you have a beat like, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Subdividing that one time would break those 4 beats into 8 beats. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you have this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bump, 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 bump. Right? So you could subdivide that even farther. You can subdivide those 8th notes into 16th notes. So instead of bum, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you have this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a right? And being able to keep those subdivided patterns constantly going in your hand is really, really, really important, okay? So I want to stress that. You're not going to be able to play funk if you can't do that. Period, end of story. So a good way to get into that is to practice, you know, so if you have like, you know, this is your standard quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then try doing subdivided 8th notes. One and 2 and 3 and 4, and using all downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then subdivide it even farther by putting an upstroke in between each one. Keeping that pattern going non-stop is absolutely essential, right? And you don't need to always be on the strings while doing it, right? But you need to have that pattern going in your right hand non-stop. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and you could take it off the guitar and it's still going. Right? So my hand never stops moving. It's never... It's never doing that. It's always moving non-stop. And that's like absolutely essential. So if you can't get that, then take a second, you know, pump the brakes for a minute, work on getting that right hand moving non-stop. It's, you know, it's the same idea that you have with strumming, but probably a little faster and a little sharper of an attack. You know, it's not so loose and soft. It's more pop, 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 you know, kind of a sharper sound. So make sure that you get that before diving into this lesson. Because in this lesson, we're going to talk about all the riffs in the song. And pretty much most of the riffs are very, very funky with a lot of dead notes, you know, in between. See, my right hand is moving non-stop, right? So you got to make sure that you get that right hand because we're going to get pretty funky in just a minute. So don't go anywhere.